And your name?
Jessica Shu.
Year?
I'm a second year.
College?
College 10.
Major?
I'm a politics and economics double major.
Your first question is, do you think that there is enough student representation on the Academic Senate? Why or why not?
No. So it's always very puzzling to me that there are so many administrators and adults that work to advance like student academic success, and there's minimal student input. And that's why I take my job very seriously, and I think that the Student Academic Senate, which is the counterpart to the Academic Senate, also takes their job very seriously, is because we are responsible for representing the needs of over 16,000 undergraduate students. And the decisions that the Academic Senate makes does impact every student, because we're all here for academics. We're all here to pursue a degree in higher education. So I guess the short answer is no, definitely not. But I think that makes jobs like mine and jobs like the Student Academic Senate even more meaningful and more influential, as well as all of the undergraduates who sit as representatives. So a lot of the Academic Senate committees have anywhere from like a dozen administrators or faculty members and just one student to voice the concerns of all of the undergraduate population. So the ratio is just completely absurd. But, we gotta do what we can given our means.
Recently, there have been several issues with alleged mishandling of Title IX sexual violence cases on UC campuses. If elected, how would you work to help increase transparency around these issues?
So generally, my work ethic is very persistent. The way I've been dealing with administrators for my term, and before that when I was chairing the Academic Senate, or the Student Academic Senate, I had no problem reaching out to administrators multiple times, even if they told me to wait in different forms, like emailing or going to their offices, stuff like that. And that's how I kind of hold them accountable. So if they tell me hey, I'll do this for you, just reach out to me next time we meet, I always make sure to remind them, and just hold them accountable basically for what they said that they're going to do. And I think that will hold true for hopefully my next term. And I mean, with regard to sexual assault, there's no place for sexual assault on this campus. And I definitely think that, asking administrators the hard questions is very important, very crucial to all of the officer positions. But with regard to the academic affairs, I definitely will do my part and hold them accountable in whatever regard that I can, or support any other groups, student groups, or any other officers in the officer corps of the Student Union Assembly if they want to pursue this.
So what makes you experienced for this position?
So my first quarter at Santa Cruz, I joined the College 10 Senate, and that's kind of how that jump-started my term in student government. And so I was elected to be the Academic Senate, or the Student Academic Senate representative for College 10. So I participated in discussions, and that year we were focusing on classroom quality, overcrowding, and online enrollment. And so I was working on all of the task forces. It was just 4 students working to make sure that administrators were addressing these problems and that they knew that these were issues that students were facing. Our chair stepped down subsequently in spring quarter, and I was elected chair. And so ever since then, I've been working with administrators and making sure that they know that students are struggling with certain things. So like the housing crisis, transportation issues, the cost of textbooks and whatnot, all of those things. I do my best to kind of raise awareness about that among the administration. And so I have meetings with administrators almost every day. And then I do my best to outreach to various Senate groups as well as the Student Academic Senate, because that's a great kind of launch pad for ideas. And I've been working with them on kind of student advocacy and making sure that all of the needs that students are addressed, because academic success is such a multifaceted issue. There's so many things that can impact student academic success, like we've seen housing, transportation, advising, stuff like that. So I try to take a very holistic approach, and I've done that ever since, and I feel like that's what makes me most well equipped to handle this position.
Do you think the Academic Senate is effectively addressing student academic concerns? Why or why not? Are there any specific changes you would want to implement?
To some extent, yeah, I think they're doing a decent job. It's very bureaucratic, obviously. There's so many different committees, and there are executive committees and all of this kind of stuff that goes on in terms of its functionality. But I think that they do, some of the committees, at least the committees that I've sat on, so the Committee on Teaching and the Committee on Educational Policy, they do a great job of advocating for students. They always, every topic that they consider, they're always like, how is this going to affect the students? And they try and think about it in a very holistic way, which I've always appreciated. But I think that since it's so bureaucratic, it's very hard for them to keep up with the kind of changing needs of students, or the various needs that we have as students, right? And so I think that given their means, they do a good job, but I would definitely like to press them and encourage them to tackle more and take on more than they are currently handling right now. And so things that they're considering right now are the availability of online courses, the shortened course periods, things like that. And so I would encourage them to consider maybe more things that fall outside of the classroom. Well, I guess inside the classroom as well, including like the quality of the classroom, right? Classroom Unit 2 seats were awful. I think the Oaks lecture hall is also kind of in pretty terrible condition, and I want them to address those issues because all students deserve to have a seat in the classroom that they're enrolled in. And I think that we should kind of stray away from online classes, and I would just encourage them to take on, discuss more than they're already kind of discussing right now.